Okay, so once again, thank you for being here. And our first question, if you could give us a introduction of who you are, your pronouns, and what your connection to DPSCD, and why did you decide to run for school board?
Hi, everyone. My name is Bessie Harris. I am running for Detroit Public School Community District School Board. I have been in education for 32 years. I retired with 32 years of service at DPS. I've come up through the ranks. I started out as a special ed teacher, resource teacher, assistant principal, and principal. So when I retired as a principal. Just a quick sidebar, I had a bicycle accident, which caused me to retire. When my doctor told me I had to retire, I cried because my school was a well-run machine. And my staff was I loved my staff. I was principal of Palmer Park Academy, located on Margarita off of 7 Mile, 32 years of service. I'm a servant leader. And when I say servant, I lead with my heart first. I lead putting others in charge. I lead making sure that people are comfortable. And I lead with transparency.
Well, my name is Monique Bryant. I am a DPS graduate, class of 1986 at Cass Tech. I attended Priest Elementary School, Munger, and Rudderman Middle School. I am a parent of a CMA Communications Media Art graduate, class 2020. I have a incoming 9th grader attending Cass Tech. And I'm running for the board to make sure that our students, parents in our community have a voice amongst the board, and to make sure that the board includes those things that we would like to see happening for our students here in Detroit.
Okay, I'm John Telford. I am running for the Detroit Public Schools Community District Board of Education. I have been an educator since 1956 in and around Detroit at several levels. I have been a principal, I've been a superintendent, I've been a director, I've been a teacher, which is basically what I'm doing now, which is what I like to do best. And I teach at Frederick Douglass High School. I teach poetry there. And I go around to the other high schools reciting my poetry. That's my job, my current job. And in the course of doing this, I have found that both at Frederick Douglass High School, where last year I had a class of 11th graders, and at Southeastern High School, where I used to be the track coach back in the 1960s, coaching some state champions at the time. I found most recently, between 2017 and 2020, I had senior classes those years, and I found that my seniors could not read, nor could my juniors at Frederick Douglass High School last year were they able to read, which rendered me very angry. And so I decided to run for the school board because I have a program I'm familiar with that will teach the kids to read. And it's a program that I tried to institute when I was superintendent back in 2012 and 2013, but was prevented from doing so by the then emergency financial mismanager, who later, when Public Act 436 kicked in, became the full-powered emergency manager, disempowered the good elected board, and fired me. So ever since then, I've been trying to get that program back in there so the kids could read? I know that's a long-winded introduction. But
Yeah, so my name is Ridgely Hudson Jr. I'm a graduate of DPSCD all the way from elementary, middle, high school, attended several schools without the community, Ralph Bunch, Hutchinson Howell, Nichols Elementary, Middle School, then Martin Luther King Jr. High School, which I believe is the best. We got some technicians around, but and then I had an opportunity to come back and work in the district while attending college. And so I think that was one of the most intricate parts of my advocacy. So when I was in 5th grade, I remember walking into a classroom, sitting on a crate. And so my teacher at that time was a DFT rep. So she rallied with the Detroit Federation of Teachers, and she took a couple students with her. So I was one of those students. So I have pictures at 10 years old with my fist up in Lansing. I have a video of me arguing with a legislator in Lansing on behalf of the students to ensure that we have better learning conditions for our students, better pay for our teachers, and overall just better resources for our school system. So then I worked at Martin Luther King for about 4 years, and then I was promoted to work at an alternative school called Detroit Lions Academy, which is also with Detroit Public Schools, and so helped try to change the school culture. And so I was at a meeting with some parents, and they were just riled up with some of the decisions that were made in the last couple months. And some of the parents said, why don't you run? You do the work, you work with the current school board, you work with the superintendent, you know kind of how the operation goes. So why don't you run for the school board? And so I sat back and thought about it, and I said, oh, okay, we'll see how it goes. And so right after my birthday in July, we had some issues. And so I said, okay, I'll give it a shot and I'll run. And at that time, it wasn't 15 people in the race. It was only about 6 people in the race. And so, of course, we've heard of 9 additional people, but it's been a good journey thus far. And I've rallied and talked to several parents, students, principals, and teachers along the way. And it's been exciting.
Okay, so thank you so much. I'm not a stranger to 482 Forward at all. And so really excited that I've seen in these last couple of years the explosion of the youth and their voice, and 482 Forward has been a major force in that. So thank you so much for having me. I'm Angelique Peterson-Mayberry. I am the current president of the school board for Detroit Public Schools Community School District. Been on the board for the last 5.5 years, elected in 2017 after a very rigorous 2016 election where over 50 candidates were running for 7 positions, 7 seats. And so at that time, we know we were coming post emergency management. So there were staggered terms for each board member. So I was one to receive a 6-year term. So my term officially ends December 31st, 2022. And so I am seeking re-election. So support from 482 Forward and all of the community citizens looking for their support to continue the work that we had begun prior to COVID. A lot of work had started, and like so many other spaces, there was this big halt, this space that really put everybody in a space of solitude, and the school district was not exempt from that. And so really, why am I running for school board again? I thought long and hard about it, wondering if it was the right thing to do. And just where I am spiritually, oh, I'm sorry, my pronouns are she and her. And so where I am spiritually, I just really prayed about it and had to get peace about the decision to move forward. And so that decision was to go back and finish or continue the work that we had begun. And so I was really concerned about not having some people at the table to continue this work. Because it's so very important, and there's a lot of transformation that had begun that did not continue, and some new things that we wanted to do that we will do now as we turn the corner from COVID. I do work at Ford Motor Company. I'm a diversity, equity, and inclusion strategist for manufacturing. I also co-chair Women of Ford Manufacturing. And so really important for women in that space to be seen and heard in the world of manufacturing, because it is a male-dominated space. However, we have some amazing women in leadership roles and even those on the floor doing the work, and they don't get enough fanfare. So I help in that space as well. And then I also sit in the space for cultural transformation for the corporate space of Ford Motor Company. Have 2 children. Let me just, I guess, give my personal life. So 2 children who have now graduated from DPSCD, with my most recent graduate in 2020 from Cass Tech, and I had a 2017 graduate as well who graduated from CMA. I am an alum, just celebrated my 30-year reunion from Martin Luther King Junior Senior High School. So I co-parent with my sister and my brother-in-law. So I have 3 nieces and nephews who are in the school system right now, preschool for one, 6th grade for one, and 8th grade for the other.
Gotcha. It's an honor and a privilege, to be on here with you, future leaders and all, the great work that you are doing, in the community and doing for our schools and for our people each and every day. My name is Jamal Muhammad, and I am a candidate for Detroit Public School Board for the November 8th election coming up during this year. I have been employed with Detroit Public Schools. This is my 4th year now. I started off as a teacher, and now I did that teaching for 2 years, and now I've been doing attendance agent for the past 2 years. And the reason why I decided to run for this position is because as I work, throughout the district, and I see some of the different things that are going on, in the district and in our schools that can be improved. But I've also, experienced, personal things that were injustices to me that not only happens to me, but it happens to, unfortunately, some of our students, some of our staff members, and some of our parents. So I saw that there was a change that needed to be made, and I wanted to be that change. And I feel like that because God allowed me to go through what I went through, that it motivated me to be able to stand up so that, we can be able to fight for what we need to fight for, and to most importantly know that our children, are our future. So the greatest investment that we can make is not in a building or is not in something materialistic, but the greatest investment is that we can make, in our children. And being, the young entrepreneur that I am and a community activist, I'm 26 years old. And, it's hard for you to come in and to tell me how you can understand where I'm at if you're not where I'm at. So I want to be able to represent the youth and to be, the youngest school board candidate on the school board that has a voice for the whole school district and for the community, but more so for our young people. So I thank you for being on here today.
My name is Latrice McClendon, and I am a she, her, hers. And I have several connections to DPS. A couple things. I am a Detroit born and raised person. So I started off in elementary school at Verner Primary. I went to Schultz Elementary, and I also went to Cass Tech. I graduated from Cass Tech. So I'm a lifelong Detroiter and DPS graduate. I am still connected to DPSCD because I have 3 children who attend the school, and they are in 3rd grade, 4th grade, and also 6th grade. And the reason I decided to run for school board, one is because I feel like you need diversity at any table. And when I found out that there are no parents with active children currently sitting on the board, I thought that it would be a great time for me to consider the option of throwing my hat in the race so that we can have a parent's perspective just at the table. I want to make sure the policies that are, what's happening at the top is being translated down into the actual classrooms. And I'll tell you, I literally have because I have 3 children, when they come home, they tell me what's really happening in the classroom, and they tell me what was really happening when it comes to, could be testing or health and safety or curriculum. And I feel like it's important to have someone at the table that has that perspective and also has stake in the game. My children are not just, they're not sacrificial lambs. They've been in DPS because I believe in public education for 5 years now. And so this is not me putting them in DPS so I can run for the board. This is, they are in DPS because I really believe in public education. I hope that answers your question.